I'm Marcus Benjamin, bringing you the Benjamin Report here from Hard Rock Stadium, where the Miami Hurricanes defeated the Texas A&M Aggies 48-33. It was a great performance by Miami quarterback Tyler Van Dyke. He threw for 5 touchdown passes in this one and just looked efficient in this new offense under new offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson. He just looked really comfortable. He was able to audible out of plays, and you could just tell he trusts his receivers because he put them in positions to make plays, and make plays they did, including Jacoby George. He had 3 touchdowns in this one, and, especially the last one, that one was really the one that really kind of put the nail in the coffin for the Hurricanes. He caught the ball deep on the sideline, and it was able to elude a defender en route for a touchdown. Hard Rock just exploded, and Hard Rock was amazing today. I mean, the stadium wasn't completely full, but the crowd was juiced up, and they were ready for this one, just like the Miami Hurricanes were going into this one. You could just tell that this team was fully prepared to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. This was their first SEC win at home since 2013 against the Florida Gators, and it was their first win against a ranked opponent since 2021. First win for Mario Cristobal against a ranked opponent since 2021 as well, when his Oregon Ducks beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. So it's a monumental day for the Hurricanes going all around. But back to this offense, man. This offense was clicking on all cylinders. It felt like if this game was going on for longer, that Miami would score more touchdowns. I feel like if they would have went for 2, they would hit a 50-burger against Texas A&M. And this is after scoring 38 points against a Miami of Ohio team. So it was really impressive to see Miami's offense just be as good as they were. Another one of the standouts on offense was Xavier Restrepo. He had a career day today in yards, 126 yards receiving. X was who he always is, just a reliable receiver, making tough catch after tough catch. And his relationship with Tyler Van Dyke just seems to get better and better with each game. The running game wasn't exactly where it was last week, where they rushed for over 200 yards, but it was threatening enough where it kind of opened up the passing game. And Texas A&M's defense, you got to give them credit. They did a great job of keeping Miami's rushing offense under 100 yards. And Miami was forced to make plays in the air, and we kind of wondered if Miami would be able to do that in this game. And they definitely proved that. They proved that they could not only run the ball well, but they could pass the ball well. And Shannon Dawson, can't say enough about the way he called this game. I think he took shots when he needed to, and Tyler Van Dyke kind of alluded to this in the press conference as well, is that he took timely shots in this game. He called plays when they needed to be called, as far as when to run and when to pass and when to go deep, when to go over the middle, when to be conservative and when to not. And to be honest, this is not something that we saw within the last year. This is night and day as far as what this offense looks like. And Mario Cristobal is extremely excited with this win, so much that he started the press conference off saying, "How about them Hurricanes?" And Cristobal is usually very, very businesslike when he deals with the media, and you could tell that he really enjoyed this win. Like, this win really meant something to him. And you could just tell that the culture is truly shifting on this football team. Xavier Restrepo mentioned it, that the culture here is at an all-time high. And I think it's evident with what we saw today with Texas A&M. Now, is Texas A&M the best team in the world? Probably not. But it's still a ranked team. It's still a team that has recruited very well in the past couple of years. So it's littered with athletes. So I don't want to downplay this win in any respect, because I think Miami has gained respect with this win. I think the nation will start to realize that things are changing in South Florida. Things are changing at Coral Gables. And it starts with Mario Cristobal and this coaching staff. Now, I already talked up the offensive coordinator in Shannon Dawson, but I do also have to talk up the defensive coordinator in Lance Guidry as well. He did a great job in calling a game himself. He took risks in blitzing. We saw a couple of corner blitzes. We saw Cam Kinchins lined up at the star position from his safety position. We saw a lot of different players also play in this game as well, as far as the depth is concerned. And it just made me feel like that they really trust these guys and that they really want to instill confidence in some of the players that are not starters. Now, there are some injuries that did happen in this game. We had Akeem Mesidor go down with an injury, your starting defensive lineman. We also had Branson Dean go down as well. Nigel Kelly also had an injury. So that's 3 of your starting defensive linemen were injured in this one, which, is, of course, a concern. And then Mark Fletcher also was injured in this game. And, basically at the end of the game was not in pads. So also a concern. But the biggest concern in this one was obviously Cameron Kinchins. Cameron Kinchins suffered a head injury in this one where he kind of collided with the receiver on a pass play. He lied motionless for a while. It was a scary sight, especially for a player of his stature. He's an All-American. He's the only All-American on this team. He's clearly one of the leaders. In the press conference, the players described Kinchins as the heart and soul of this team and this defense. And you can tell that he means a lot. He obviously means a lot to this team and to the city. Him being a hometown guy, this is a guy that I covered in high school, and I got to know very well before he even committed to the Miami Hurricanes. I kind of saw his ascension in recruiting before he put on the orange and green. So prayers up for Cameron Kinchins. I certainly hope he's well. Mario Cristobal instilled some confidence in the media, kind of explaining that he would be back, or he's okay, is along the lines of what Cristobal said. You can see the full transcript, of course, on CanesCounty.com from Mario Cristobal. But it was positive signs from him. But more on Canes County as far as his status. But it was definitely a scary sight. He did move his arms, but I didn't see I didn't see any movement in his legs, and he was carted off the field on a stretcher. So it's definitely a big concern for Miami's All-American safety. He was having a great game up until that point. He had an interception. He also had a fumble recovery as well in this game, and was his typical all over the field self. Other players on the defense that were outstanding in this one was his teammate and compadre, James Williams. James Williams, I think, probably had his best game of his career as a Miami Hurricane. He was all over the field, and he had a crushing hit on a receiver that was almost penalized for targeting. The refs almost hated on Miami with that call or with that play, but it was then disregarded or not called as targeting. So he was able to stay in the game. But the other thing I want to say about James Williams is that he was out there barking at his teammates, getting them to line up in the proper spot. He was trash talking as well. I think he really epitomizes that old school Miami Hurricane mentality, and it's great to see from a player like James, who was a 5-star talent coming out of American Heritage. I really think he's on track to be an NFL draft pick by next year. Another one of the top defenders today was Jaden Davis. Jaden Davis was outstanding today in tackling and in coverage. I think Jaden Davis really kind of solidified himself as CB1. I think he was the best corner today. I thought Daryl Porter was also outstanding as well in coverage, but Jaden Davis was absolutely all over the field. He was second in tackling, right behind James Williams. So a lot of great things to look forward to from Jaden Davis. It seems like that back four is completely set with Daryl Porter Jr. on one side, Cameron Kinchins, James Williams, and Jaden Davis. I feel like that is your back four defensive backfield going forward from what we saw today. And Miami didn't get any sacks in this one, which is kind of surprising. They were able to get a lot of pressure, some tackles for loss as well, but wasn't able to get the quarterback on the ground all game. Somewhat of concern, but not really, because like I said, they were disruptive all day. So that was another positive sign for the Miami Hurricanes. So overall, I just think it was just an outstanding performance. Great to see the Hurricanes put two very impressive wins together. And next up for the Hurricanes is Bethune-Cookman, now HBCU out of Daytona, FCS school. The last time the Hurricanes played Bethune was last year, and the score was 70-13. And this team, to me, I would say about 5 to 10 times better than the team last year. So it should be a similar result. But that's going to wrap it up for the Benjamin Report here from Hard Rock Stadium. Once again, Miami defeats Texas A&M 48-33.